It is the year 2267. Earth has become uninhabitable due to ecological collapse, and humans live in overcrowded space stations in Earth's orbit. Those with enough money escape to the planet Rhea, where they can start a new life. Laura wants to join her sister on Rhea, so she has taken a job on the cargo ship Kassandra as the crew doctor to earn the money. The trip to Station 42 will take 4 years to reach and 4 more to return. The crew will go into cryosleep and return staying open-eyed, one person at a time, for 8 months, to keep an eye on things. Before leaving, Laura sends her sister one last video message, which will take a few years to reach Rhea. When she boards the Kassandra, Laura meets the crew: Captain Lacroix, First Officer Lindbergh, System Administrator Yoshida, Prokoff, and Vespucci. Also on board is Decker, a sky marshal sent by the government. Recently, ships have been under attack by the radical neo-Luddite group, machine strikers who oppose living inside machines. Their leader, Bruckner, is still at large after bombing a few stations, so they must be alert. The crew enters cryosleep, and things proceed peacefully for 3 years. When it's Laura's turn to wake up, she sees a message from her sister, Arianne, saying her worries over the terrorist attacks. Laura sends a message back, and then focuses on establishing a routine to maintain her mind, which includes reading, exercising, and monitoring the ship's performance. One day, Laura starts hearing noises inside the ship. She follows them to the cargo bay, where she finds something banging at the door. Terrified, she ran away and unexpectedly bumped into Decker, who was automatically woken up by the system when it detected someone entering the cargo bay, a forbidden area. Laura informs him what happened, and they decide to wake up Captain Lacroix, as the rules dictate that the captain must be present during unexpected incidents. Once Lacroix is awake, they investigate the cargo bay and find the astronaut suits scattered on the floor. Lacroix initially thinks the air pressure might have caused this. Still, a check of the system logs reveals multiple illegal accesses during Laura's shift. The trio suits up and enters the containment area, leaving a metal plate at the gate to keep it open. While searching for clues, Laura heads to the upper area of dangerous, narrow bridges. Suddenly, she sees something falling. It's Lacroix. She and Decker rush to check on him and find him unconscious. As they try to leave, the gate starts closing, bending the plate. Decker carries Lacroix and runs with Laura to escape before getting locked inside. By the time they get out, Lacroix is dead, and no CPR can revive him. Given the emergency, the entire crew is woken up. With Lindbergh assuming command, the crew is assigned tasks. Yoshida inspects the logs for suspicious activity, Laura runs an autopsy on Lacroix, and Prokoff and Vespucci work on fixing the gate. During the autopsy, Laura finds Lacroix died from the fall and that one of his eyes is an implant. She and Decker connect the eye to a computer to view Lacroix's last moments. Shockingly, they see Lacroix finding an open containment unit with a biohazard warning, which is mysterious as they are supposed to be transporting construction materials. While Prokoff and Vespucci find that the gate skiers have somehow broken, Laura and Decker return to the cargo bay. They use Lacroix's badge to investigate the containers from the video. Going deeper inside, they find all units connected by thick pipes. A closer look reveals a vast surprise. Sleeping humans are inside them. They call Prokoff and Vespucci for help to move a unit with a child out of the bay, which triggers an alert in the system and causes all the units to start moving. The men move quickly enough, but Laura almost falls and has to grab onto the stairs until Decker comes to help her. Moments later, they bring the unit to the medical bay. Lindbergh isn't happy about this because they aren't supposed to mess with the cargo, but now the rest of the crew wonders if Lacroix was murdered for seeing something he shouldn't have. Someone set the containers in motion to kill him too, but Lindbergh insists it was just the system putting the units in order and that they should take the kid back. Decker reminds her this is a murder investigation, and Laura gets to do a full inspection of the kid. The scan confirms the child is under cryosleep, but she can't learn anything else because the tank is blocking her machines. Laura asks Decker for help, and he uses a unique program to open the unit's digital lock in a few minutes. While they wait, Laura tells him about her sister and Rhea, and Decker kisses her. Meanwhile, Lindbergh requests Yoshida to investigate Decker, suspecting something is wrong with him. At the cargo bay, Prokoff and Vespucci begin hearing weird noises coming from the inside. Once the container is finally unlocked, Laura looks at the kid and discovers a perfected virtual reality connector embedded in the girl's spine, something Laura has never seen before. Decker wants to disconnect her, but Laura refuses because it could cause irreparable neural damage. Reluctantly, Decker understands and asks Laura to keep this secret for now. Afterward, Laura sends another message to Arianne, telling her about her findings and complaining about how long messages take to arrive. In the meantime, Yoshida only tries to access Decker's file to get blocked out. 20 minutes later, Laura is surprised to get a message from Arianne back so soon. Confused about what's going on, she confronts Decker and asks him why he wants to keep secrets and why he knows how to open the units. Instead of replying, Decker kisses her and the two of them get frisky. Lindbergh calls everyone to the deck a few hours later and informs them that Yoshida discovered someone manipulated the cryochamber's logs. It turns out Decker had been woken regularly. Still, Decker says it is part of his duty to check on the ship periodically. Lindbergh suspects him to be Lacroix's killer and tries to arrest him, causing Decker to try to defend himself. Yoshida and Vespucci manage to overpower him, but in the struggle Decker gets hurt, and Laura asks them to bring him into the medical bay to avoid blood contamination. Laura takes care of Decker's wound while ignoring Decker's attempts at chit-chat, and before she leaves, Decker confesses they aren't going to Station 42. They're going to Rhea. Afterward, Decker is put back into cryosleep. In private, Laura asks Yoshida to check the ship's destination. Yoshida confirms they are going to something other than Station 42. Since it's impossible to change coordinates after the flight has already begun, this was planned from the beginning. When Laura brings up her messages arriving quickly to Rhea, Yoshida points out Lindbergh lies to them since she should know the coordinates. Afterward, Yoshida goes back to her computer to see if she can find out more. While Laura was having a drink with the guys, she noticed the power fluctuating and became worried about Yoshida. She decided to check on her, but unfortunately, she found Yoshida already dead. Upon hearing this, the crew immediately checked on Decker and discovered he had escaped the cryopod. The logs indicated that someone had let him out. The crew, now armed, started searching for Decker. Laura and Vespucci went to the lower deck and found an open duct, suggesting that Decker might have escaped. Vespucci went to the other side of the vent while Laura climbed in from this end. She ended up finding a secret chamber full of trash. Suddenly, she was attacked by a man, and during the struggle, Laura shot him. On closer inspection, they realized the man was the terrorist Bruckner and found a box with his belongings nearby. Laura found pictures of the machine strikers working to develop natural resources and discovered that Decker was part of the organization. There was also a tablet with a video showing that the machine strikers were growing food on Earth using greenhouses and purifying their water. This meant there was no need to leave the planet. They just needed to try to clean it. Then Laura was startled by Vespucci, who informed her they had found Decker. Everyone returned to the deck, and Lindbergh ordered the crew to hit Decker to make him talk. Decker revealed that Rhea was just a simulation, and the container's people were being used as neural units. He explained that the government lied because the system would crumble if people knew parts of Earth were habitable again. Decker admitted that Bruckner had cracked up and killed Lacroix, but not Yoshida. Vespucci and Prokoff took Decker away while Lindbergh asked Laura to complete with the kid and return her to the cargo hold. Lindbergh also wanted Laura to return to cryosleep, promising to take over her shift. Growing suspicious, Laura took out her gun, but Lindbergh was quicker and tied her up. Lindbergh explained that settlement on Rhea had failed, and the simulation was only temporary until they found a new terraformed planet. This simulation allowed people to stay alive with hope, and Lindbergh wouldn't allow anyone to get in the way. She planned to kill Laura and Decker using the excuse that they had killed the captain. Meanwhile, Vespucci and Prokoff took Decker to a random corridor and demanded to know everything. When they learned Lindbergh knew, they returned to capture her and put her into cryosleep. Vespucci told Prokoff they should connect themselves to Rhea because a simulation was still better than the crappy life they were living. In the medical bay, Laura started safely waking the kid from the unit. Decker apologized for lying and asked for Laura's help, which she agreed to on the condition that he rescue her sister from the simulation. Afterward, the crew made a plan. They would finish their trip to Station 42, where the simulation was kept, so Decker could connect Laura to the system to send a message with the truth to Earth. Then they'll blow up the antenna. Decker and Laura spend their private time together for the next few days. Decker tells Laura how nature has reclaimed every spot on Earth. When they finally arrive at Station 42, they delay the cargo's delivery, giving them 30 minutes to execute their plan. Laura discovers the child is awake and wandering, so she quickly returns to her room to keep her safe. Prokoff and Vespucci secretly work against the plan because they want to connect themselves to Rhea. To do this, they need Lindbergh's badge. Vespucci burns his hand with cryoliquid to retrieve it from the tank. At the same time, Prokoff reprograms the unloading of the cargo to 10 minutes instead of 30. Next, they use the badge to access the units and disconnect 2 people to take their places in the simulation. As the system prepares for delivery protocol, it wakes Lindbergh up. Meanwhile, Decker goes on a spacewalk to place explosives on the station's antenna before he searches for Arianne's container and fortunately finds it quickly. Laura decides to join him, but her suit begins malfunctioning, and Decker has to catch her before she drifts away. Decker explains to Laura that the units can't be unplugged without killing the people inside, so Laura asks to be connected to the simulation to meet her sister and send a message. At that moment, the ship begins delivering the cargo automatically, leaving them only a few minutes before the ship starts its return journey. Decker connects Laura to Rhea, and Laura is shocked to appear in the most beautiful forest she's ever seen. In a nearby house, Laura reunites with Arianne and her kids and cries over having to destroy their happiness. She runs away into the woods and records a message for Earth explaining the truth behind Rhea, finishing just before Decker wakes her up with bad news. Since the cell unit of Laura's jetpack is broken, Decker gives her his, meaning only she can get back into the ship. Laura doesn't want to leave without him, but Decker insists she must protect the child, their only proof. Suddenly, the ship's thrusters turn on, pushing them away from the station. Decker uses this push to let go of Laura and drifts away into space. Grieving but determined, Laura uses the jetpack to enter the ship before the station antenna explodes safely. As the ship enters autopilot mode to begin the return flight, Laura searches for the girl and encounters Lindbergh. A fight ensues between the 2 women, and when Lindbergh grabs an axe, she accidentally breaks a gas tank. Laura uses it to push Lindbergh into an airlock, trapping her there. Then the airlock opens, and Lindbergh is ejected into space. Afterward, Laura looks for the child and finds her calmly having a meal. The 2 begin a new routine for the trip back, while Laura's message reaches the stations around Earth, letting people know the truth.